Okay, before we get into today's topic, yes, I know the irony is loud. I'm a former cam girl, now giving relationship advice. Some of you are like, ma'am, weren't you literally online watching men fall in love with their Wi Fi connection? Yes, I was. And that is exactly why I know what I'm talking about. Because I didn't just date men, I observed them for hours, unfiltered, vulnerable, ego driven, lonely, flexing, confessing, projecting, sending money. I saw what they said when they were trying to impress a woman. I saw what they said when they thought no one was judging them. And I saw what happened when a woman pulled back. So today, we're talking about something powerful. What actually goes through a man's mind when a woman stops chasing and goes quiet? Because silence is not passive. Silence is psychological warfare, if you understand it. Let's get into it. This episode is about power shifts, about energy withdrawal, about what happens in a man's nervous system when the validation faucet suddenly turns off. And let me say this up front. Going quiet is not a manipulation tactic. It only works when it's real, when it's aligned, when you actually detach. Men can feel fake silence, but they deeply feel real absence. Let's break down what happens in his mind. If he's used to you texting first, checking in, sending memes, initiating plans, responding instantly, and then suddenly nothing, his brain goes, wait, what changed? Men are pattern-based creatures. They track consistency. When a pattern breaks, their nervous system flags it, especially if he's gotten comfortable with you doing the emotional labor. Now, here's the interesting part. If he liked you, even a little, that quiet hits fast. Because men often don't realize how much they rely on a woman's attention until it's gone. And silence creates a question mark. And question marks are psychologically uncomfortable. Let's be honest, a lot of men operate from ego before emotion. If you were giving him steady validation, he subconsciously categorized you as secure supply. Not in a villain way, just human nature. When you stop, his ego thinks, did I lose her? Is she talking to someone else? Did I mess up? Why isn't she reaching out? And here's the kicker. Men are competitive by nature. Even if he wasn't stepping up, even if he wasn't committing, the idea that another man might now have access to you, that flips a switch. Scarcity provides perceived value. Not because you're playing games, but because humans value what feels limited. When a woman chases, the man relaxes. When she withdraws, he reflects. He starts replaying the last conversation, the tone shift, the moment you seemed off, whether he got lazy, whether he underinvested. Men don't always process emotions in the moment. They process them in the absence. Distance creates clarity. When you're constantly available, there's no contrast. When you disappear, there's space for realization. If he has genuine feelings, silence activates anxiety. Not because you're punishing him, but because attachment is threatened. And men are often less emotionally expressive, but not less emotional. He may not text, I miss you, but internally he's thinking, why hasn't she reached out? Is she done? Did I take her for granted? If he's secure and mature, he will step forward. If he's avoidant, he may freeze. If he's ego-driven, he may test you, which leads us to the testing phase. When you go quiet, some men poke. They send a random, hey. They like a story. They react with a fire emoji. They breadcrumb. This is data gathering. He's checking, is she still available to me? If you immediately respond with full energy, he relaxes again. If you stay calm, warm, but slightly reserved, he feels the shift. And that's when he decides whether to pursue or retreat. Let's get grounded. If he didn't value you before, if he wasn't attracted, if he was already halfway out the door, Silence won't hypnotize him into love. It only reveals what was already there. It amplifies. It doesn't create. There are 4 types of men in this situation. Number 1, the invested man. He steps up, he calls, he initiates, he closes the distance. Number 2, the ego-driven man. He resurfaces when he feels loss of control, but fades once assured. Number 3, the avoidant man. He feels the loss, but doesn't act. He rationalizes. 4, the uninterested man. He simply lets the silence continue. And here's the empowering part. All 4 responses give you clarity. Why going quiet feels so powerful is because you stop over functioning. You return responsibility to him. Chasing often comes from fear of losing, fear of being forgotten, fear of not being chosen. Silence, when healthy, comes from security. It says, if you want access to me, you know how to reach me. That energy is different. It's not cold, it's not dramatic, it's not performative, it's self-contained. And men feel that. When you stop chasing, 2 psychological triggers activate. Number 1, loss aversion. Humans fear losing something more than they value gaining something new. If he feels he might lose you, that hits deeper than when you were freely available. 2, uncertainty. Certainty kills urgency. Uncertainty creates curiosity. If he knows you'll always text, no urgency. If he's unsure where he stands, his brain seeks resolution. But here's the warning. Do not go quiet as a strategy while obsessing. Men can sense energetic desperation even in silence. Real detachment is you focusing on your life, you not monitoring his social media, you not waiting by the phone, you genuinely accepting whatever outcome happens. That's when the power is authentic. Here's what he thinks versus what he does. This is important. A man can think, I miss her, and still not act. Why? Pride, fear of rejection, immaturity, other options. Thoughts do not equal commitment. Behavior does. So when you go quiet, don't focus on what he might be thinking. Watch what he does. Here's the deep truth. The woman who stops chasing is often the woman who finally chooses herself. And that's magnetic. Not because it's manipulative, but because self-sufficiency signals value. Men are wired to pursue what feels rewarding and slightly challenging. When you remove the constant reward without removing warmth entirely, you create space for pursuit. If he doesn't come back, let's say he doesn't step forward. That's not failure, that's information. It means he was comfortable receiving but not investing. And silence simply revealed the imbalance, which saves you months, maybe even years. When a woman stops chasing and goes quiet, a man thinks one of 2 core things. 1, I might lose her. 2, I never valued her enough to begin with. Either way, you win clarity. Because love that requires chasing is not love, it's convincing. And you are not here to convince anyone to choose you. You are here to be chosen by someone who moves toward you without being dragged. And if that takes silence, let's be quiet. If you would like one-on-one coaching, the email is in the description box.